I'm getting married, yay, and my brother John asked me to include his girlfriend, Sarah, as a bridesmaid, as a way to get her involved with our family, since he wants to propose soon. I wasn't happy. She's quite snobbish, almost in a comically villainous way. She once made fun of the fact that I get most of my groceries from the local big box supercenter and not somewhere with more high-quality products. But I loved John, and it mattered a lot to him, so I agreed. On to the issue. On the final night of my bachelorette party, we decided to have one big meal that was really pricey and fancy that we all saved up for. Sarah said she had to take an emergency work meeting and for us to go ahead first. The restaurant was walkable from our hotel. Guys, when Sarah showed up, I was floored. She came in with a sparkly white sequin number with a tulle skirt and tiara. When planning the trip, my maid of honor made it abundantly clear that everyone was supposed to wear pink so we could get a cute photo together at the restaurant. I'm not even kidding. Her outfit was so bridal looking that the waitress actually asked if we were having a joint bachelorette party. I was so upset that when it came time to take photos, I absolutely refused to have Sarah in them. She said it wasn't her fault because she didn't get the memo, but I told her it was common sense not to wear a bridal-looking dress to a bachelorette party if you're not the bride. Plus, she was in the group chat and even commented about another girl's outfit when we talked about what we wanted to wear, so I know she knew. All of my friends were on my side, and they made sure she didn't end up in the photos. When we got home, she pitched a fit to my brother, saying that we bullied her at the party and deliberately left her out. She was also angry because many family and friends noticed she wasn't in the photos, and I wasn't afraid to tell them exactly why. My brother's really upset though, because she's been crying and whining about it nonstop since. Apparently they're both so mad, they'll skip the Father's Day brunch, so the whole thing is blowing up even more. I'm starting to feel bad because my mom told me that my brother and Sarah were fighting a lot now, so I'm not sure if I'm being the idiot here. My brother called me a bridezilla, but I really felt like Sarah was trying to ruin my night. Not the idiot, a tiara and a tulle skirt, all in white? It was no accident. Kate Middleton could show up in a tiara at my bachelorette, and I'd probably still be miffed. Someone was clearly jealous of the attention you were getting. If the drama continues, I would reduce the size of the bridal party by 1. Lord knows what kind of stunt she would pull on the wedding day. Good point. And honestly, I wouldn't let her attend the wedding at all. I already envision a dramatic proposal from John to Sarah at the wedding, likely during the wedding toast and speeches. OP, let them fight. Better now than when they get engaged and married. A photo would have been useful proof, though, to get the family and brother up to date. Exactly. If only they'd gotten a photo, they could have just posted it for all to gawk at. That's why I want an update in a couple of months. Fully expect a full-on wedding dress that isn't a wedding dress. It's not white, it's ivory. I feel like a point is being overlooked. It's clear Sarah's trying to drive a wedge between John and his family. They're now not going to a Father's Day celebration because of Sarah? She's deliberately escalating this to create more tension between John and his entire family. OP, treat him with a little more kindness. Otherwise, he'll end up being just one of these emotionally abused guys. Sure, he might not listen, but at the moment it doesn't look like anyone's even suggesting telling him that this is red flag behavior and that he's the one at risk. So a snobbish girl with the moxie to lie about not knowing the agreed upon rule has the gall to show up like a bride, with a tiara mind you, to your bachelorette party, then proceeds to throw a fit to your brother while gaslighting everyone, thereby driving a wedge in the family, which ultimately leads to a foolish idea of skipping Father's Day brunch in a stupid protest. LOL, if John ends up marrying her, you're in for a lifetime of headaches. Good luck. And poor John really is in for a fun time. I, 25 male, am a wedding planner. So when my sister, 32, announced she was getting married, most of our family, her included, assumed I'd help plan it for her. I initially didn't really want to, as her wedding's right in the middle of the busy season, so I'd miss out on gigs that would pay. But then I decided that she's my sister, and this would be a good wedding gift and would just help with the wedding stress. She was so happy when I agreed, and we started going over her plans and themes. I found some venues, and we went to look at them. I took care of all the catering, so all she had to do was taste test and pick. I was also able to use my connections to get her special deals and stuff like that. At first it was pretty smooth, but as time passed, it just got more and more stressful. She wouldn't communicate with anyone and almost got her photographer to quit. I had to convince him to stay. She'd constantly change her mind on things and then get mad they were changed, as I should have known she was just being indecisive and that I should have stuck with the first option. While I was setting up her registry, she told me I could have first dibs on what gift I was getting her. I looked at her confused and said that my help planning was my gift. She then said that a lot of family members helped out and that they were all still getting gifts. I told her that other family members have helped move furniture or lend me their car to pick up supplies. I was doing most of the work and was missing out on getting paid for helping her. She said she was grateful for my help, but that this wouldn't constitute a gift unless I paid for things like her dress or the venue. And she said it didn't matter when I brought up that my connections have literally saved her thousands when you add them up. So she's now calling me cheap, and it's getting our family involved. I don't know what she told them. They won't tell me, but they keep just saying how selfish I am to make my sister's big day all about me. If I could afford it, I would be okay with getting her something, but the cheapest thing in her registry is almost $200, and I'm not well off, plus my loss of income. I can't afford something like that right now. I want to support her, but I don't think I'll get her a gift. So, am I the idiot if I don't? Not the idiot. Make an itemized bill for her outlining the hours you've spent, the income you've lost by turning down paid gigs, and the savings you've got her through her contacts. Print the final total in big bold numbers, then print "Gifted" in red letters across the front. Frame it and put it on a stand at the gift table at her wedding so everyone can see how generous you've been. If anyone tries to argue that you're being selfish, tell them to read it out loud. If they accuse you of being petty, tell them it wouldn't have been necessary if it had been appreciated by the bride and themselves. I'd go even a step further and give her this bill. Say if she wants a registry gift, she can pay this. LOL. Your time is valuable, and you sound like you've put a lot of effort into helping her with her wedding. She's offered you nothing in return at all. Actually, when a wedding planner would normally be very expensive, if she was going to flip out on you for not getting her a material item, then it shows how much she values your time. What an idiot. Helping out is when someone comes over to make favors, help transport items, or decorate. You're providing a service and coordinating an entire event for her. And as did your family that feels the need to be involved, you need to be clear that you're a 25-year-old losing out on actual money to support yourself. You're disappointed. Your family neither seems to value your work or time. Don't let family walk over you. I have an old studio condo in a major city, and my son is staying there for his internship. Unknown to me and my son, my wife and daughter decided to go and stay without asking my son for a shopping trip. I butt out of his life. He's 24. I've never heard of him actively dating or having a girlfriend, but my wife and teen daughter just showed up in the middle of the day, and I guess my son had a woman over, and it caught my wife by surprise. Not only that, the woman also lives there part-time because she works in another city. This is news to me, but not expected at his age. My wife freaks out, yells at my son, and kicks him and his friend out of the apartment for her shopping trip. I hear this and refund my son the money for his hotel and refuse to treat him like he's done something awful, having a woman living with him. My wife wants me to charge her rent, but I said I'm giving the studio to my son full-time, and there are no more surprise shopping visits. I told my son to change the locks, and I'm not having his mom stop in like that anymore. It's an invasion of privacy. My wife insists that his friend pays rent, even though my son just pays utilities and never has had to pay us rent. I don't see the issue with the friend, and I think my wife is making a big deal over nothing. Am I the idiot for not charging rent to my son's friend? Edit. It was left to me by my grandparents when they died. I used it as an Airbnb, but I'm letting my son use it instead. It caught my wife and teen daughter off guard, but they should have knocked first. Wow, they didn't even knock first? Did they walk into an adult's home without notice, or even knocking, and then kicked your son out of his home, forcing him to go into a hotel, maybe endangering his relationship, so they can stay there to go shopping? Why does your wife hate her own son? Not the idiot. You're 100% doing the right thing. If anything, your wife is out of line. Her anger that her little boy is now a man, and the fact that the woman was there completely shattered the illusion. How is it a surprise a 24-year-old man has a woman over with him? And the fact she dared to kick him out of the place he's living is ridiculous. Good for you for supporting your son, and don't give any more ground on that matter. Kicked out both of them while she commandeered the place? Your wife is definitely making a big deal out of it. Showing up to a 24-year-old's apartment unannounced is an interesting choice. I'm trying to find out why she's overreacting to such a degree and wanting to charge the girlfriend's rent. There's a reason the son is so private. Maybe she's one of those moms who hates all of his girlfriends. So my daughter recently had a birthday, pre-tween, and for our family part, she asked for a peanut butter and chocolate cake. I agreed. I told my sister not to bring my nephew, toddler, because of his allergy. It's so bad that he can't even be near or breathe in peanut butter particles. She asked if I would change the cake to just chocolate so that my nephew could come. I said no, that it was my daughter's cake, and she should have peanut butter if she wanted. She called me unreasonable because my daughter could have had peanut butter cake with her friend party. She didn't have cake with her friends. She just had pizza. She said my daughter must learn to compromise for family's sake. I told her that I would talk to my daughter, but not to expect a young child to choose her baby cousin over her favorite cake. My conversation with my daughter played out just like I predicted, and when I told my sister, she called my daughter selfish and ungrateful. She said that I'm a bad parent because I taught her to hate nephew. She threatened that if my nephew wasn't welcome, neither she nor her husband would come either. I said that was fine because she wasn't welcome either. I then reached out to my brother-in-law to let him know what was going on and to tell him he was still welcome if he wanted to come. He thanked me, but said that he'd stay home to support my sister. Her party came and went, and my sister is still being very distant and cold. This has me wondering if I was too harsh to her and my nephew, or too soft on my daughter. Am I the idiot? This is a hard one, since your nephew is so allergic, you have to really think about it before having the kid around. Can you order some Chinese takeout or even fried food? What have you made in the past day that might still be in the air? Do you have peanuts in something? He's also a toddler, so you can't just have a party outside and be like, don't eat that. I'm saying not the idiot, as you told them ahead and told them you couldn't accommodate and wouldn't force your daughter to accommodate. The hard part of having strong allergies is you don't get to do everything. It is what it is. If anyone is teaching OP's daughter to hate her cousin, it's the sister. Forcing a young child to give up their favorite cake on their birthday is an excellent way to sow resentment toward the person they're doing it for. I was the kid that always had to compromise. I would ask for something I liked and then be forced to do something else because another family member doesn't like that, especially on my birthday. Now as an adult, when someone asks me what my favorite of anything is or what I want, I literally don't know. I was never allowed to have favorites. I always had to people please everyone else, and I rarely ever spoke up about what I want or just defer others to pick everything. And I don't like celebrating or acknowledging my birthday because it's been drilled into my psyche that I'm not special and no one cares about my special day. You aren't teaching your kid narcissism or spoiling her by allowing her to pick something she likes over a family member one time on her birthday. I thank you for taking your daughter's side and letting her make choices for her own birthday. I'm a male 34, and my wife is 32. We've been married for 6 fantastic years, and we recently had our first child, a beautiful girl who's just weeks old. Things have been tumultuous lately, and I'm not sure if I'm the one being unreasonable. I work a physically demanding job in construction that starts at 6 a.m. This means I have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. to get ready and commute. My job needs me to be alert, as any lapse could lead to serious accidents. My wife is on a year-long maternity leave and is responsible for caring for our baby throughout the day. Here's the problem. As they do, our newborn wakes up several times throughout the night. My wife has been insisting that I help with these late-night feedings and changes. Still, I've explained to her that a lack of sleep could seriously jeopardize my work performance and my safety. To add more drama to the mix, my mother-in-law has moved in with us to help with the baby. However, her idea of help often involves criticizing my wife's parenting, which only adds to her stress, and dictating how we should run our household. She's also been siding with my wife on the nighttime assistance issue, making me feel ganged up on in my own home. I help as much as I can when I'm off work. I take on most of the cooking and cleaning and tend to the baby as soon as I'm home, till she sleeps. But the continuous pressure and lack of sleep are becoming unbearable. After a particularly heated argument, I told my mother-in-law that she'd need to find somewhere else to stay if she didn't contribute positively. My wife was upset, saying I was out of line for kicking out her mother. I feel bad, but I also think the current situation isn't sustainable. So am I the idiot for refusing to assist with our newborn at night due to the nature of my job and for asking my intrusive mother-in-law to leave? Edit. I should also mention that I have 2 stepsons from my wife's previous relationship. In addition to my work and the baby duties, I also pick them up from school, help them with their homework, and take them to their sports practices after I get off work. It's not just about the newborn. We have a whole family to take care of. So it's not like I'm lounging around sipping a beer post-work. Balancing all these responsibilities is what makes the situation so challenging. Everybody sucks here. You don't get to toss out your mother-in-law, who's apparently there at your wife's request. Under normal circumstances, I would say it's 2 yeses for any house guest, but this period of time postpartum is an exception to that rule. Your mother-in-law should be helping with the nighttime feedings. At this point in time, that's the main assistance she should provide. This is where the pressure needs to be applied. Your wife is frustrated and overwhelmed, and dealing with a 6-week baby is not a walk in the park. I know from experience, but sleep deprivation for someone working a physical, dangerous job with a long commute is not a solution. Not the idiot. I don't know why everyone's jumping down this guy's throat so quickly. Look, I'm a woman, and if my husband were working a dangerous job, I would want him to get a full night's sleep, especially if I have a year's maternity leave. This guy doesn't sound like he's slacking. It sounds like he's as tired as any person would be, working full-time and caring for the house and kids when not at work. And it also sounds like his wife is exhausted, because let's face it, mother-in-law is exhausting and a waste of space, especially if the husband's already doing all the cooking, cleaning, and pickups.